20 to 12 at night. Um, Almost midnight. I did fall asleep this afternoon. It was around noon. I've been up a few hours. So I actually got a lot of sleep. Um, I woke up to that computer does not smell good. I gotta get this computer out of here. I guess that's gonna be something I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna have to vacuum in here in the next couple of days as well. Um, in here and in the other space. I'm gonna have to put that in the back room, I guess, for now. Um, I think that when I determined what I should try to find. Like, there's a couple of like fix-it places. I should take it in just to verify that there's a short in it, and see what he can do about parts. Um, because if I can get $100 for it, I'm probably better off just doing that, and letting that money fuel the second half of my month, because I ended up with a heavy April and a heavy May. Um, if I can get a couple extra shows in, I'm better off. So, um, yeah, that's that. Um, I woke up to well, I mean that smelled bad, but it the smell I woke up to is something that's been building for the last couple of days. It's the smell of not natural gas, but gasoline, um, and it seems to be coming from uh, in behind the back room. I'm not getting any smell of smoke at all. No smoke. I guess I probably got pretty close to 40 minutes out of that at the end when I added it all up. But still, it's like it's coming down. Anyways, I'm not getting any smell of tobacco, any smell of flavored tobacco, and I'm getting a smell like gasoline. And it seems to be coming from the very back space, up around where the laundry is. Um, they may even just be storing gasoline in the back. It might just be as simple as that. I don't know, but it's not a nice smell. Um, it's like it smells like somebody used went over with a lawnmower or something. Like it's a shitty smell. So it's the second week of May. It should be warm enough to have the windows open and let the air cycle. Frustratingly, it isn't. The best I can do for right now is leaving that open to crack. And it's not really going to warm up tomorrow. It's not really going to warm up. It might warm up on the weekend. Apparently there's something called a Rex block coming through, which means that all the cold air is flushing down, and because of the way the jet stream is, the hot air can't push back. So we're getting actually near not literally record cold temperature, but near record cold temperature for this time of year right here, and it's fucking terrible. But there's nothing, Like I say, for me, the biggest issue is air quality because, like, it's everything else aside. It's just I need to have the windows open, right? I'm going to court in 2 days to let me run the fan, and that's kind of, I want that and everything else. But like, I woke up with a sore throat, um, and not, like I was breathing in shit all night, right, or all day, and it's just there's no there's no way around it. The windows need to be open as much as possible. Um, and in fact, in order to clear the gas out, I may end up opening them overnight anyways. I need to get the temperature up in here first. That also means making eggs. Um, I thought that with the fan running, I could go back to my turn the heat off while I'm sleeping, turn it off when I'm awake. That's what I want. That's my routine. But it seems like there's something else, right? Initially, it was the natural gas, and then it was the tobacco, and now there's gasoline. Like they don't seem to. Well, I mean, they're retarded. They're literally retarded, right? So it's, if you're gonna have a tenant in the basement, you can't leave open vials of gas a few feet from the door. Or if you're gonna do that, you have to air out the basement. Like, it's just, you would, it is basic thinking processes, right? But you can't expect them to have the ability to think basic thoughts. And like I say, it's not their fault. They're stupid. It's not their fault, right? They can't do that. It's the people that should, you know. Um, I'm gonna have to assume that that's not a permanent feature. Sitting vials of gas in the back room is not going to be permanent. Um, but even if it is, like, the windows must remain open as much as possible, right? Regardless of everything else. That's a feature of living here, is that the air quality from all these different reasons, and even just the basement itself, right? I need to have the windows open, and the weather is not cooperating, and it's fucking maddening. But there's no point in yelling at the sky, right? The tobacco smoke with the fan is mostly cleared. I don't. I suspect that the property owner has talked them into modifying their behavior, right, for a few days. I don't think that it's worthwhile to put much faith in the existing conditions. We'll have to see what it's like after the court date before, you know. And like, this is this is not the end of a process. This is the beginning of a process, right? I've been over this a few times. Like, it's not, things don't end on Thursday. It's things are starting on Thursday, right? And if like I say, let's sincerely hope that we're not in a situation where they were just asked to change for a few days, because if that happens, I'm going to sue them again, right? Like, it's not like this isn't like that's not. I suspect that that's what's actually happening, but that can't be what actually happens. But like I say, the answer, the total solution, is the windows. And so, but I mean, I don't want, like I said, I don't want the heat on full blast either, right? And when it's cold out, like it is right now, you can't see, like, I'm standing here and it's like, fuck, like really bad gas smell. Just, I've noticed that before. Like there seems to be a hole in the wall here, and this seems to be connected to the back or something. I don't know. It's just, actually, wait, I got it back. That's a skunk. Okay. Let's not blame anyone for a skunk. Okay. But I mean, skunks and gasoline smell similar, right? It's the windows. I need the windows open. I can't open them right now, and I'm flipping out over that. I think reasonably so. Okay, so what have I got done? Like I said, I had to sleep during the day. It turns out I didn't have a choice. I guess that's the skunk again, huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'll have to let that pass. Alright, no, fine. We can close the windows for a few minutes and open them up wider once it warms up a little bit more. This is what we'll have to do. I got, okay, so I can open the virtual machine, I can render things, and I can edit. It's all working, it's just slow. it's that much more slow, right? It's like it's even slower. What do you know? Um, but I got up until what's there done. So the next thing I'm gonna have to do is clear this device off, and it's gonna have to be fairly brief as I go through. Like I'm not editing and watching vlogs. I'm just going through and I'm finding the segments that I want. I may have to cut a few things up, but it has got to be quick. I think I miscalculated yesterday regarding like I was hoping. I guess what I was hoping was that I could have pulled like a really long day off yesterday, right? That didn't happen. So now I'm gonna have to do just a regular day to day, and like I'm gonna want to be asleep by the afternoon so that I'm awake around midnight. So I don't like I've only got a few hours here, right? So I gotta work this out quick. I don't really have a lot to do, right? Like I'm not. I'm a perfectionist. It was one thing, and if I'm gonna do something like this, it's gonna be like I'm gonna show up with a barrage of information, and we're not gonna look at a fraction of it. I'm doing way too much work, right? I always do with these kinds of things. I always do way too much work, and then I show up and they just look at a very small fraction of what I've prepared. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, it's how it always works. So the video thing is, like I say, it really is key because I can go through, I can show, it's there's nothing you could ask for that would be better than that, right? There's no better outcome. But I also need to ensure that I've got that I've got my case that I'm referring to. If not printed out exactly, then at least a couple of pages that are useful. So I'm gonna have to get to. I guess it would make sense to go tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta get to the. Well, now, it's what at 9:30. I think they open at 8. I have to double check that. It would probably make more sense to print it off on the way there. Okay. But I need to make sure that I've got everything I need ready to print off too, right? It's not a lot. It's just I need to have a few things that demonstrate the seriousness of secondhand smoke as a pollutant, right? Because that's like this isn't. I'm not complaining that I'm not I'm not irritated by the smell. No, this is a dangerous pollutant. Okay, this is an environmental hazard, and they're responsible to deal with that, right? Like this isn't. I'm not irritated by the smell. I'm presenting to you a hazard to public health, right? And it's like getting people to it's the same thing. People that want to stand up for smokers. They're the same people that they can't deal with things like climate change, right? It's an anti-science position, and it's got to be I mean, I gotta hope I get a reasonable judge here, but I mean I need to make my position clear at the very least, right? Make it clear what I'm arguing for. I'm not arguing that I'm annoyed by the smell. I'm arguing that I'm living in a hazardous environment, right? And if that's the case, it's their responsibility to mitigate for that, right? Or at least to allow me to take steps to try to deal with it. So I gotta get that printed off. I gotta get the case law printed off. I'm relying on a specific case. What the case indicated was that the big thing is about making a good faith effort, and I think that it took them a few tries, but I think they finally got their head. Well, I think that they succumbed to my tactics. I think that had I not sued, I would have never been allowed to put the fan back. Right? I was allowed to put the fan back because I sued, and because they realized that is something that would mitigate their damages. Right? So I mean, I played this. It's well played. I played this well. That's right. That's basically it. Right? But I've got to finish it, and What that means is just having the court tell them that, you have to let me do something, right? And just have, getting the situation that, because I think that the actual property owner gets it a little bit better, but the old guy, the previous property owner, he seems to think that he's being generous, right? And he seems to think that by making a concession, I should like he's got weird like bargaining type thinking instead of like that's not how law works, right? Like it's like I'm not there to make a deal, right? Sorry, Donald. It's not about making a deal. It's like this is what the fucking law says, and you know, there's no deal making here. It's blunt power, right? So, that's really what I want out of Thursday, right? Is to maybe less so the new property owners, but more so the but certainly, you know, I don't know who's going to be there. I think maybe the guy upstairs. It might be best for him to listen to it, right? And just to have them sit there and be told, okay, this is what your responsibilities are here. These are what your obligations are here. To have it understood that they can't stop me from doing something about it, right? And that they need to be flexible to listening to my proposals and experimenting, right? And finding a solution to the problem. The idea that they can just be like, if you don't like it, move. Like they can't, like that's, they need to be told by the law that that's not acceptable, right? And even, like I said, even if in the end, I don't even get my $50 back, even if in the end that doesn't even happen, just having the judge tell them that is enough to make the process worthwhile. But I need to make sure that I'm showing up with the proper documentation, with the proper video footage as it is, to make my point, so that the adjudicator can tell them that, right? I can't just be like, huh? I have to show up armed with the data required to have the judge come to the conclusion that I want him to come to, or her to come to, right? So, like I said, it means I got to get this off of here. That shouldn't take too long. It's just a process of filing it, really, right? Because I'm not editing it. I'm just filing it. And I need to get a couple of those documents. I won't print them today, but I'll put aside what I need to have, right? Should I write a summary? No, I don't think I need to write another summary. I'm good at writing. Good at putting them later down on that paper. No, it's the truth. I get what I want when I write an essay. I'm very persuasive. I'm a good writer. Such is the reality of things. But I mean, I don't have an opportunity to. I'd be better off if I had an opportunity to write another essay. It's not coming up. Okay. But I mean, that's the rest of the night. I wouldn't expect many more updates, unless something happens. This is just gonna be. I'll be glad to put this aside as well because it means I can get back to doing something else. I've got a busy weekend, and hopefully the temperature turns after that. But I hope to be able to get back to the concert reviews on Monday. Hope. And I gotta call doctors too, right? So, in fact, yeah. Oh. It won't be by then either. Yeah, I know. It's the recursion. It's the giant recursive relationship of life. All right. This is my existence. I'm almost back there. I just got a few more things. Oh. Yeah, I know. But this is why I'm doing this. I'm documenting my existence for the historical record. What is it like to be me? It's the constant recursion. And if I get back, then it'll be a journey, right? Okay, almost there. That's the night. It's just it's compiling evidence. I gotta put it on a disc. And what am I gonna? I was gonna bring my other laptop, but I guess actually, you know what? Yeah, there's a DVD in there. There is a DVD in there. Okay, I want to double check it before I do it, but I think that what would make the most sense, or in fact, you know what? I can probably even just copy it over. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put it on a DVD in case she wants it, but the best thing for me to do would actually be to put it on the hard drive there. I should have enough space, right? Okay. I'm bringing the old school laptop to court. I'm more interested in impressing with my nerdery than with my status. No, but it's kind of true, right? Because nerd status requires a certain level of poverty. You can't really be in like this idea of what do they call them, like a chic geek. Like this is a bunch of fucking pop culture bullshit, right? The real nerd must exist in a certain level of poverty. You cannot be a wealthy nerd. It's a contradiction in terms. Nerds must be outcasts. They must be poor, and they must fail at life within the constructs of what the society considers success. A nerd cannot succeed in what a society considers success. They can succeed in other ways. They can write brilliant symphonies, or come up with far-reaching, forward-thinking, theories of the way the world works. But they can't actually succeed in the system that exists, whatever the system is. Be it capitalism, be it feudalism, be it whatever system exists, a nerd cannot succeed in that system. Otherwise, they are not a nerd. So, I will wow you with my 90s laptop that still works. So yeah, that's the night. The night is building evidence. We'll see if we talk more later. Well, it's recycle day, so I ran out to get my recycle out the last minute here. The recycle bin guy's right there. I took a look outside and there's this mangy German Shepherd running around. And I don't know if he's still out here, if he ran off, but sure gave me a good startle. I'm not a fan of stray dogs, I'll put it that way. And I don't like seeing stray dogs run around. Because you just never know. Dogs seem to run kind of towards me. Maybe I thought he looked friendly. I don't know. I am friendly, I just don't like strange dogs. That's, I think, a decent rule. I'm not going to catch it at rhino. I was standing on the front porch there, and it ran across from over there somewhere towards me, and I'm glad I got in quickly. And I had to put my card back in here because I just cleaned it. And it was gone by the time I got out here. So I'm not sure if it walked back down that way. I think it did. Let's hope I don't see that too frequently. Moving into the future. I think I can go out there and brave. I think I can brave my recycle bins. Be back in a sec. And I'm back, and I closed the window here for a few minutes because, actually that makes me, did I close the front door? I'm gonna catch some shit if I didn't. I'm pretty sure I did. Makes sense to think I did. Of course I did. Um. These windows over here have bars on them, right? This one doesn't, so. If an angry dog decided that it wanted to push its way through this screen, it certainly could. There's no question about that. It's not like I have some aversion to the species of dog, you know? I had dogs growing up. Um, I like retrievers and labs specifically, you know, friendly dogs. But and I've been over this before, like I say, I really have to argue that an aversion to dogs that you don't know, it's not dogs, it's strange dogs, right? Not dogs as a broad general category, but specifically the subcategory of dogs that I'm not familiar with. And especially the subcategory of dogs wandering around outside by themselves. That may or I don't even know if that was a dog. I mean, it was certainly a canid. I think there's a possibility that might have been a coyote. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of walked up towards me there and then walked off, right? You don't often see German shepherds walking around the city by themselves. That's not a common happenstance here. It's not something you see every day, right? Could have been a coyote. There's no real reason to think it wasn't. And in fact, when you think about it for a minute, what is more likely? Is it more likely that somebody's stray German shepherds came strolling down the street, or is it more likely that it's a coyote? It's probably actually more likely that it was a coyote. Um, but either way, canids walking around by themselves, like it's that specific category of canids, right? Not dogs in general, but dogs I don't know, and very specifically dogs that I don't know that are walking around by themselves. And I think that that's rational. I'm sorry, and I think that if you don't think that you should have a fear of strange dogs that are walking around by themselves, that then you need to question your attachment to rational thought, because that would be irrational. Like, and the fact that I have to, like, you know, walk your hand through this, we have to walk down this path together, the fact that I need to help you is really scary, right? It's really reflective um, of how distant we've come from, just kind of the basics of simple thinking, you know, of simple causal thought patterns. Why should you fear strange dogs that you don't know? Well, because they have big pointy teeth, because they're carnivores. They're not obligate carnivores. Cats are technically more scary because they're obligate carnivores, but um, dogs are going to eat meat at some point eventually, and it could be you. Um, dogs they could catch diseases like rabies. There's a very long list of reasons. It could, especially if you see a dog by itself, it could be, escaped, abused. Like, there's a very long list of reasons why you should be cautious and, yes, fearful of strange dogs that you don't know that are walking around by themselves. Again, why do I have to explain that to you? Again, it's not even. It's really. It's not even an intellectual, issue. It's not. It's not that you're lacking intellect, because you really shouldn't have to think about it. It's more like you're lacking. I don't want to say instinct, but you're lacking a concept of self-awareness. It's almost like you're lacking consciousness. You know, how can you exist and not realize, just inherently that a strange dog is a scary prospect? How can you be that disconnected from reality? How can you be that delusional? And when I'm the one that's giving you shit for being disconnected from reality, you've got some problems, right? It boggles my mind that this is even a discussion. This is something that people even need to contemplate. If you don't see the obvious danger, you're insane. I'm sorry. They should lock you up somewhere. Maybe not lock you up somewhere, but certainly take away your adult card. Don't let you do anything complicated if you can't see the obvious danger in the situation. Anyways. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to sit there and cower in fear, right? If you're a big, strong guy, then maybe you could take the coyote, right? But you've got to recognize that you have a foe in front of you, right? Like, just recognizing the situation. Anyways, making progress. I gotta. What did I gotta do? I gotta brush my teeth and take the thing out. So it's was it almost 9? I'll be done what I'm doing before noon for sure. There's a lot of kids around here. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the premise of saying I saw a coyote walking down the street and I didn't do anything about it. A coyote that's ballsy enough to walk up to me while I'm putting my recycle out is a coyote that probably needs some attention. So, I don't know what you do. I mean, you can't let a coyote walk down the street in the middle of the day. There's kids around, right? You gotta bring that to somebody's attention. I don't know. Who do you, I don't know what the laws are in this particular place. I mean, listen, if that was a coyote, running around, it wasn't running around here looking to say hi, right? Wild coyotes are predatory animals, and it was looking for something to eat. And they will attack kids. It's not unheard of. So, I should probably, cops or animal control, or I don't know who I call. Figure that out. But yeah, I was talking about this the other day before the battery went out. I was about to walk through Windsor's Coyote Alley. The difference being that coyotes are confirmed in Windsor. It's not a hypothetical. They're here. They've actually removed some of them from directly in downtown. There was they found one it walked right into the building. I'm not joking. The coyote walked right into a downtown office building, and they had to come in and remove it and take it out. There's some in some of the parks around here. They've been seen to be aggressive. They have attacked dogs. This is not a hypothetical. It's a reality. The reality also is that they're not coyotes, or they're not pure coyotes. What they are is something called coy wolves. They're hybrids between coyotes and gray wolves, mostly. They bred up in Algonquin and have moved down from there. They have large ranges. They tend to congregate around railroad tracks, which is why That spot up in Detroit that I'm always worried about is right over the railroad tracks. The spot that I walked by near Windsor was right over the railroad tracks. The park that they've been seen in is right near the railroad tracks. Um, but the idea of coyotes kind of straying into here is not that's not an exotic proposition. It's not a hypothetical. It's not outlandish. It's actually very realistic, and I think it's quite obvious. Well, like I say, it was either a coyote or it was somebody's German Shepherd, right? I think I should probably assume it was a coyote until it can be otherwise demonstrated. So I gotta call someone. Here's a really interesting question, though. It's not entirely applicable because this is recycle. But do you think that Wile E. Coyote is smart enough to figure out that if it follows the garbage truck around and it gets there right before the garbage truck does, then there's a decent shot it can get a meal? That would be some Wile E. Coyote, wouldn't it? These were recycle trucks, but the coyote may have been easily confused as well, right? I gotta call someone.